Hey everybody, my name is John Swartstrom and I'm going to share with you about sharing water. I've been in this business for over 19 years. It's been absolutely amazing and I love every minute of it. Changing people's lives is what it's all about. So when I'm sharing water, what I do is first of all, I pre-qualify them. It is very, very important that they see a demonstration or they see a video of the demonstration before you share the water. Okay, I can't tell you how many times when I first started off, I asked people, what do I do? They said, give them a DVD back when DVDs were used a lot and give them some water. What happens is most people don't watch the DVD, or if you send them a DVD, they don't watch it because they think, oh, it's about an hour and a half, a half hour, and I just don't have time for that. So you want to make sure that they see that. And if they don't see a demonstration, they're not going to understand the water. And if they don't understand the water, they're not going to drink it with purpose. And if they're not drinking with purpose, they're not going to drink enough and they're not going to get the results that you want them to get. So always give them a demonstration first. Okay. Number two is the bags that I use. And I tell people right up front, they see a demonstration, said, okay, yeah, you want to try the water? Great. Okay. So you can come by and pick up the water. It's better if they come up and pick it up from your house. And what I'll do is that these are the bags that I use. I make my own labels here. So these are the labels that I use on these. And I was using these for a long time. I switched over to these bags because you can lay about 20 of these down flat. It's not going to take a lot of room. And don't those look great? Okay, it has a lot of information on them too. Those are fantastic. They hold a little bit more than a gallon. And another thing too is I've got about 100 of these in stock. I sell them to my distributors at my cost, and so I always have them available because if you're going to share water with somebody, most of the time they're not going to have jugs to get their water in. And you want to make sure that they're advertising when they're picking it up, when they're carrying it around, when they're using it at home. People are asking, oh, what's that? Oh, it's my special Kangen water I'm trying out. So that's why it's important to have labels on everything. That's number one. Number two is you tell them 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so while the trial's going on, you tell them, hey, this is week 1, how you feeling? Okay, great. You start them off at 8.5, and then you work them up to 9.5. Very seldom, maybe 1 out of 20 times, I'll start them off right at 9.5, okay? And those are people that I know a little bit better. I had a guy that owned 3 Gold's gyms, phenomenal guy. He's working with me now, but I start him off at 9.5. And he called me up 3 days later and says, John, I've got excruciating headaches. So what happens is when you go right to 9.5, 9.5 is 10 times stronger than 8.5, okay? So he was getting, what happens is the toxins leave the cells of the body, they enter the bloodstream, and you get a really bad headache. Or you might feel nauseous. Those two things is what people have when they go a little bit too strong too fast. So you start them off at 8.5 for about 2 or 3 days. That's what I do, 2 or 3 days, maybe 4. Then I go up to 9.0 for 2 or 3 days, maybe 4. And then I keep them at 9.5. And that's where you want to stay, hydrate, and detoxify somebody's body. So that's number 2. You want to monitor them. You're constantly in contact with them. How are you feeling? Before you give them the water, you have an assessment, how they're feeling, what health challenges they have. Whether they have neuropathy, whether they're low energy, etc. And then you want them to monitor that throughout their trial. That's really important too. Setting boundaries. Now, you have some people, I'll give you an example. I had this girl, she was coming by my house. I put in the water in front of my house about 2 gallons a day, and she was drinking 2 gallons a day every other day. Well, she completed in 2 days. And so every 2 days, I'd have bottles of water out there on the porch for her at about 7 a.m. She got phenomenal results. In fact, she was going into the hospital for something that I thought it would help out. And sure enough, the doctor says, you don't even need surgery. And she's like, what? And she's like, wow, this is amazing. She said, John, can you come over and meet my family? My mom wants to meet you. My dad wants to meet you. My sister wants to meet you. They all want to drink the water. So what happened was I gave her the water for 2, 3, 4 months. And I finally was like, yeah, I'm new in the business. I said, hey, you ready to get your machine? Well, she had drank it for so long, she was come to expect it. Okay, she didn't end up getting the machine. It boggles my mind to this day. But it was because I didn't set boundaries. I didn't just give it to her for a month. She saw phenomenal results in a month. Then you go and say, great. So this is what you do it. First week, you say, hey, how you feeling? Okay, great. You lose a little body fat. Oh, that's great. Oh, you're feeling more energy. Fantastic. Other things, great. All right. Well, you got 2 more weeks, so just want to make sure we're monitoring this. Another week goes by. Say, hey, how you feeling? Oh, great. I'm seeing more results, more powerful results. Fantastic. Okay. You got 5 days before the end. Say, hey, listen, you got 5 days left. You're getting such great results. I want to make sure you're not without the water after your trial because your trial ends in 5 days. So let's get your machine ordered today so you can have it in 5 days when you hook it up and make sure you're not without the water so you can have a constant supply. Okay. So if they're hemming and hawing, which this is great, works fantastic every time, is you say, okay, if they're like, yeah, I don't know. I'll give you an example. I had one of my guys was giving water to somebody who got phenomenal results. And I can't say much more than that, but it was just incredible. And the guy had given the water for 2 or 3 months. He's like, John, I don't know what to do. He's not buying the machine. Can you talk to him? I said, sure. So I meet him at Starbucks. We're chit-chatting at Starbucks. Oh, yeah, how you doing? Finally, I get around saying, hey, so, what type of results you getting? And he's telling me these phenomenal results, and I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. And then he says to me, well, I don't know if it's the water or not. I'm just like, oh, you got to be kidding me. We told you this was going to happen, and it is happening. And so I'm just listening to him, And he goes, well, I think I could probably just buy some alkaline water here. They sell alkaline water in the store, and rather than just pay for a machine, I think I can get the same results. And so I'm like, okay. And I stand up and I go, okay, well, let's tell you what, let's try you without the water for a month and see how you feel. See if you're noticing a difference, okay? And then we'll check back with you in a month. Okay. And he's stunned that I'm just like done and I'm getting out. And my guy who was sharing the water with him was just stunned and just like, what the heck is just going on? And I leave and I get in my car and I call up the guy sharing the water. And I knew he wasn't going to pick up. And I said, hey, listen, that guy, don't worry. He's going to buy the machine. He's going to call you up in 2 or 3 days saying, hey, yeah, I got to get that machine because he's going to be without the water. He needs that for his condition. And don't worry about it. He calls me up the next day and says, John, it worked like a charm. He's buying the machine. He called me up and says, yeah, I want to get that machine. So those are a little bit examples of what to do, how to do it. And I think that's about it. So share the water. Make sure they see a demonstration or a video on the demonstration. Make sure they see that. Otherwise, they're not going to drink the water with purpose. They're not going to see the results. Hold tight to your 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, but you want to keep it within that because they can taste. It's like, hey, you want to try my steak? Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, yeah, I want to order that. Okay, great. If you give him your whole steak and your potatoes and everything, he's going, yeah, I'm satisfied. I'm good. You give him a little taste. You show it works. And then you say, look, I told you it would work. You're gonna feel great the rest of your life drinking this water. Let's get your machine ordered. And I think that's about it. So we'll see you guys.